You have weeks where your brain is just buzzing with ideas and you can't focus on any one individual project. That's been me this week. Sewing overload, scatterbrain, no projects finished. Hi there, I'm Christine the Gemini Stitcher. Welcome to my sewing space. Yes, you heard me right. I've done loads of sewing this week, but I haven't got one finished project. But that's okay. I've enjoyed the journey and I'll show you where I've got up to with what I was planning to do from last week. You'll see in the background here my robe that I was making. Still not finished it, but it's nearly there. So I'll just zoom out and bring Rita in and talk to you about my gorgeous, yummy summer robe. So here she is, Rita, looking very swish in my robe. This is the Verinique robe from Closet Core Patterns. It's one of the patterns that was in my unused pattern pile, so got another one off the pile. And yes, it's a little bit bright, isn't it? So the fabric that I've used is a cotton sateen fabric for the main body. Got it from Rainbow Fabrics. Really good value and good quality. It comes as one of the extra wide fabrics. If they've still got it in stock, I think it was about £14 a metre, but actually works out at £7 a metre because it's over 2 metres wide. And I got 3 metres of this stuff, so I've got loads left. But I've made my robe. Now, I took this up to the lakes with me the other week and I took it to the social that we went at Jenny Stitches and I made a start on it. I'd already cut it all out and I'd already cut everything, the cuffs. Well, there aren't cuffs on the pattern, I've added those, but the front borders were also cut in the patterned fabric. But while I was at Jenny's and I was looking around her fabrics, I spotted this gorgeous popping pink sateen and I had a light bulb moment and decided, do you know what? I'm going to do the borders in pink satin. Make cuffs and do those in pink satin and make the sash and the tops of the pockets. Now, I'm not touching these pockets very much because this is where this robe is still not finished. I got about halfway through, none of the borders were put on, the sleeves were in, the cuffs were on, so really when I came away from Jenny's, I thought, it's nearly done this. I just got the borders to put on, the belt to make and the pockets to make. But it just sat in a bag. I got distracted by other stuff. So none of it got done. But then last Saturday was my social. So I bit the bullet, thought, right, I'm taking that dressing gown with me, or robe, and I am going to get it finished. Did I finish it? No. It's one of those things that's just going to take forever. The main reason it wasn't finished is because of the front borders. One of the options on the Closet Core Verinique robe is to have notched details on the front, and I thought, oh yeah, you know me, go big or go home, we'll do the notched front. Oh my goodness. I don't know whether I was distracted because I was at a social, but I could not get my head round the accuracy of doing those notches on the front. So I will just zoom in now so you can see, all in all honesty and transparency, in the end, after trying it about 4 times, and this satin fabric has a life of its own and frays like you would not believe. I had a little temper tantrum, got my scissors out, did an Edward Scissorhands and just snipped the top of where the notches go and straightened it out, because I knew I'd cut the borders longer than I needed because I hadn't shortened the length on them. I was just going to cut them off at the bottom at the end, so I knew they would still fit. So unfortunately I've got 2 seams here on the front where if I'd have chosen to do the version without the notches, they wouldn't be there. There would have been seams near the shoulders. So yeah, but nobody knows but me and you. Don't tell anybody. But it's turned out okay. I'm happy with it. I added cuffs of my own. These weren't on the pattern, so I just cut, I don't know, looked at the length, decided how wide I wanted the cuff, cut 2 oblong pieces, the total width of the arm with a bit added on, sewed them on the inside first, then turned them over, turned a hem up, pressed it and top stitched on the outside, and that worked really well. So just the pockets to top stitch on now, and I promise I will get this done before I go on my next sewing retreat on Friday, because I do want to take this beautiful robe with me to do a Margot leg better and swish around the kitchen in the morning looking all glam. Now I've also got to give this a wash as well, because I was sewing on my Faff Passport little sewing machine. It only gets used when I go to socials and I'm out and about. I took the arm off, the sleeve arm off, so that I could top stitch around the cuffs, and there must have been something liquid or wet underneath, because can't find it now. There are a few watermarks on it. I don't know what it is, so I'm going to get some pink Stain Devil on them and soak them and then put it in the wash, and hopefully they will come out. So yeah, stains on my cuffs already, which is going to happen with me anyway, let's be honest. When I'm floating around making brekkie, I'll probably end up dipping them in my brew if I'm really honest with you. But I was a bit gutted that I got those marks. And then my robe is done. So what alterations did I make to my robe? I made a size 6, took probably about 4 or 5 inches off the length of the sleeves and a good 5 inches off the length of the bodies as well. I did make it harder for myself because I decided to do it all with French seams. Let's just undress Rita and then you can see it is all French seamed on the inside so that it looks nice and smart on the inside as well as the outside. So I've done my robe. It's gonna come down to the retreat with me because I will get the pockets finished, I promise. And then it's going to be great for taking away on holiday through the summer. It's lightweight, it will roll up and go in my case. And I just love it. It's such bright colours, so cheerful. The weather's a bit naff here again today, but it is meant to warm up as the week goes on. So by the time I go away on Friday, it will definitely be summer robe weather. Fingers crossed. The second thing I want to show you is something I haven't made this week, but I can't remember whether I showed it you completely finished. So here it is. It's my Spring Tree of Life wall hanger. All completed. Nice binding on it. So that's a tick. That one's being done. And I'm just going to zoom over to my cutting table because I've started the summer one. So up here now will be some images of where I'm up to with my Summer Tree of Life. I've made 14 blocks, yes, but to be fair, some of those are quite easy blocks, but I'm working my way through it, and fingers crossed by the end of April I'm aiming to get the summer one completed as well. So I've used some really bright colours for the leaves. So turquoise is a bright pinky reddy colour, bright yellow, and a little bit of the Tula Pink rainbow fabric as well. And the background for the summer one is going to be all pinky colours. So the background for spring was pale greens, and the leaves are all pale pinks and pale greens. So summer is a little bit brighter. And then I can get on with autumn. I'm trucking on that at the moment. I feel like I'm just fessing up at things that I haven't finished this week, because I've not finished anything. I've just done bits here and there, but that's okay. I'm all right with it. In this bag is the Japanese obi bag that I was making at my embroidery retreat the other weekend. Yes, I've still not finished it. I've done a little bit of it, but I got to a point where I wanted some more structure to it. So before I put it all together, I'm waiting on some by Annie Soft and Stable. So hopefully that's going to give it enough structure, but without being too stiff, because it needs to be quite a soft bag, a soft finish, Soft and Stable. There you go. So I'll just give you an update of where I'm up to. Everything's done, it just all needs putting together. So I've got my cream and my green for the back. I've got my patterned and my cream for the front. And then, oh, look at this. This was in the patterns that we got as well. It's separate from the obi bag. It's a mandala tab. But look at the detail in there. Lots and lots of embroidery stitches, but a beautiful finish. So I've made that. That's going to be the closer for the bag. So just waiting for the Bayana Soft and Stable. I did promise Julie and Christine, who run the embroidery retreat, that I will be bringing my finished bag down to our next meetup on Friday. Will I make it? We will see. It just depends when this Soft and Stable arrives. If it arrives in time, a day putting that together is all that I need. So hopefully that's going to get done this week. Famous last words, isn't it? Everything's unfinished this week. Hey ho. The last thing I've been working on this week is trying to create my own bag pattern design. Get me. I got the idea from one of the ladies at the embroidery retreat. She'd designed a knitting bag, but she was still working on the pattern. And there were a few girls at the retreat, I think they were testing it out for her, and it looked really stunning. So while I was at the retreat, I kind of wrote down the dimensions. So that's what I started with. Now, I've tweaked it because they didn't quite work out the way I thought they were going to work. These are the dimensions that the lady gave me at the retreat, but I've altered it a bit and hopefully it'll work. So I'll just show you where I've got up to with it, because I've done quite a bit of work on this week. So there's a centre panel down this bag, and I've created my own because obviously I didn't have the embroidery design that they had at the retreat, but I've got the Sweet Pea Designs knitting bag pattern, and that's just like a normal tote bag. So I pinched the blocks from that and put them into a continuous strip of cream fabric. So the top one says knitting, Then I've got some knitting needles knitting a heart. Love that one. Then some more balls of wool and a little design at the bottom. So that's going to be the centre front panel of my bag. Then obviously if you saw the little design, these are going to be, I'm using fabric from my scraps, yay, to make the side panels, and they're all going to be in strips. So I've got 3 colours. So that's one side, and then I've got the same for the other side of the front. So let me see if I can, so it's going to be like that, yeah. The back, I haven't decided. I think I'm going to do the back just all strips because I want to put a zip pocket in the back. I like a zip pocket on the outside back of all my bags to put my phone and my keys in. So that's the other side. I've got to do the back, and then I've got to do a boxed base and some handles, and it's going to have a continuous double zip that goes all the way around so that you can get into your knitting bag and see exactly what's in it. So really enjoyed doing that, and hopefully when the By Annie Soft and Stable arrives, I might even get that finished this week, but if not, I'm going to take it down to the retreat and finish it there. So if you're interested in knowing how I've created that bag, let me know, and I will make another one once I've done my prototype and record it so that you can all see, because you don't have to have an embroidery machine to do that centre panel. You could just do it all in stripes, or you could have some special fabric down the middle and then other stripes either side, or you can just do it all in one fabric, to be honest. I'm just trying to be clever using my scraps up. So that's my scrap busting project that I'm on with at the moment. And that's all I've done this week. So, robe, not finished. Obi, Japanese bag, not finished. Scrap busting project bag, knitting bag, not finished. Am I bothered? No. I've had a great week. My brain's been buzzing with ideas, and I've just let it go where it wants to go and done exactly what I want to do when I want to do it. And that's the way that my sewing's going to go from now on. So we may not end up with finished garments every week, but there will be loads and loads of ideas. So what am I going to do this week? Well, I've got lots of cutting out to do because I want to take loads. I was starting out by saying, no, I'm just going to take to the retreat 3 garment projects, my quilting, and some scrap busting projects to do. And then when I was at my social on Saturday and I was chatting to Steph and Marion, who are both coming on the retreat, they said I think Marion said she'd got 13, I don't know how many Steph's got cut out projects, because they want choice. They're not expecting to get all those made up, but they want to have choices. And I thought, am I being too restrictive? And you know, it doesn't take much for me to start planning more and more things to do. So I think I'm going to take 3 projects that I've already got cut out in project bags. In fact, let me just grab them and then... Okay, I've actually got 5 project bags filled so far. Eek. So the first one has got the beautiful lace in it that I bought at the Knitting and Stitching Harrogate in November. I've got it all cut out and all good to go to make the tempet blouse. I am lining the bodice, I don't know if you can see it, I probably can, with some beautiful gold satin fabric that I got from Rainbow Fabrics, and that's just going to line the bodice, and then the sleeves are going to be a little bit see-through. So project number 1 is going to be the tempet that's coming with me. Project number 2 is another Christine idea. There's no pattern. I've used the block for the Linden sweatshirt, and I've got, I don't know if you can see, my leopard print that I've got on, actually the colours I've got on, and I've got all the leftover fabrics from this, plus a bit of plain cream that I had in my scraps, and I've done and played around with some colour blocking. So I've got it all cut out. I just need to put that together, so that is going to come with me. This shoes bag has got my Love from Beth quilt that I'm working on, well, started on. So I've got the Love from Beth fabrics in there, and I've got some fabrics from my stash that I'm going to practice the blocks on. So I'm going to see if I can get block 1 perfected and finished next week. This one has got the leftovers from my floral gorgeous pink cord, and I'm going to make the Ilford jacket in that. That's all cut out, so that is coming with me as well. And then the last project that I've got in a bag is a cream version of the Margot pinafore. Now, I was all gung-ho about the Margot. I loved it. Put it on, absolutely loved it. And then a few people said, oh, it's too low at the front, it's too wide, it's this, it's that. And put me off it, to be honest. So I'm going to regroup, look at it. I do know there are a couple of things that need tweaking. I need to raise it at the shoulders, and I might need to take it in a little bit at the sides. It's already cut out the same size, but I can alter it. So I thought, take it with me, and the girls on the retreat, I trust their opinions, and they can help me get a really good fit on the Margot. And then I can make the summer version, because I want to make the square neck version in some of my summer linen. So I'm going to perfect that and then cut out my summer linen version, but not until I know I've got the fit right, because apparently it was too big for me. Who knew? So that's 5 things all ready to come with me. Plus I want to take some of my linens, and I want to make a pair of jeans. I don't think I'm going anywhere. When we go on this retreat, I'm going to be sewing 24/7. No, I'm going to take lots of options with me, I've decided. I'm going to leave all the projects in the boot of the car, and I'm not overwhelmed, and I'm just taking into the house probably 2 or 3 and work through them, and then go and swap them out if I finish them. If I don't, it does not matter. So yeah, lots of cutting out to do. I've got some linens that need to wash. The weather's going to be brightening up this week, so that's perfect. I should be able to get them all washed and good to go. I'm looking forward to a restful week with lovely friends, because I've had it a bit full on. Well, nice full on. Lots of holidays, lots of plans, lots of sewing. And I'm hoping I'm going to slow down next week and just chill. So the rest of this week, I'm going to hopefully get the Obi bag finished, maybe get the knitting bag finished, and definitely get the pockets put on my Verinique robe. So I hope you have a fantastic sewing week. On Thursday, I'm going to be starting probably a 4 or 5 part series. So every Thursday for the next 4 or 5 weeks is going to be focusing on Sesan. Yes, you all know I love a bit of Sesan. And last year, I think, was it last year or the year before? Anyway, the last time I did a Sesan recreate the look type vlog, I just chose a mini capsule, chose the patterns and worked my way through those patterns. I'm going to do it a little bit different, and I did it in the autumn and winter, so I'm going to do it in the spring and summer so you get a different view of Sesan. So I'm going to do it garment by garment. So I'm going to do, let's see how many sections there will be then, because there'll be dresses, blouses, trousers and skirts, jackets, and maybe accessories. So there might be 4 or 5, definitely 4 parts to it. So on Thursday, it's going to be all about blouses and shirts or tops. And I've chosen 5 patterns. I've chosen 5 garments from this current Sesan collection for spring and summer, and then I've matched them up with 5 patterns and 5 fabrics that are actually available at the moment to order online. They may not be the fabrics that I use, because I might use some from my stash, but if you want to recreate the look, I've tried to find matching fabrics for them as well for you. So I will see you on Thursday and we'll start the Sesan fun. Have a fabulous sewing week and I will see you all then. Bye.